Hello race fans and welcome to the Grove Centre and Sports Club in Nailsea, Bristol for the Team Bombersports 350 presented by Good Sign, NASCAR Fans UK, Camtech and RC Racer magazine. After the great success at the Good Sign 300 launch event, we have an even stronger field ready to do battle on this fierce oval arena of RC racing. Can Lee Owen go back-to-back and win the first two RASCAR races ever held? He'll have some vastly experienced oval RC racing drivers joining the field today and trying to stop him going 2 for 2. So let's get straight down to business with the starting grid for the 150-lap sprint race. Row 1 sees the reigning F2 World Champion David Tomlinson on pole in his number 34 car, with fellow veteran driver Ryan Stewart on the outside of Row 1 in car number 79, looking for a new challenge in RASCAR. He's sure to get it judging by what we've seen so far. Row 2 sees Lee Owen in his number 55 Team ORE car, looking to repeat his crushing victory in the Good Sign 300, but he's got 5 other strong drivers standing in his way for this one, including the car on his outside, number 77, Bob Harley. Row 3 are the other 2 returning drivers from the Good Sign 300, Mr. RASCAR himself Chris Wareing in the Team RC number 5 Chevy, and Joseph ALFORD in the RASCAR Rental 01 Ford. Well, there's your starting grid, and they're hungry to get racing NASCAR style, so who are we to stop them? Let's bring the noise! The sprint race was a hard-fought affair with high attrition and a lot of bumping and banging. Lee Owen was in the wars right from the off, and one particular wreck involving Harley's number 77 car even took out one of our cameras. That's the very definition of getting too close for comfort. Owen's race was a tough one, and he could not recapture the strong form of the Good Sign 300. The biggest casualty, however, was Chris Wareing, whose number 5 Chevy took an absolute pounding in this race and eventually retired with steering damage, necessitating a new body shell and rebuild in between races. When even the man running the series is involved in the wars, you know no one is safe in the bear pit that is RASCAR racing. So after 150 tough laps, David Tomlinson rose through to take the victory using that F2 stock car experience well to beat Ryan Stewart to the line by 4 laps. Owen finished 3rd in the end and will be looking for improvement in the shootouts before the feature race later. Harley survived that massive off into the scenery to take 4th ahead of Joseph ALFORD, keeping his nose clean and gaining more experience with every lap turn, whilst Wareing was the sole DNF. After a race that defined the phrase "boys have at it," the crews got hard to work on their cars, with Wareing in particular facing a race against time to get his car fixed for the shootout races, and Owen looking for any sort of edge over his rivals in that quest for back-to-back wins. The 2 75-lap shootout races were used to determine the starting grid for the feature race. Each race sees the driver scoring points, with the highest scorer over the 2 races taking the pole position for the feature. The shootout races were slightly cleaner than the sprint race, and after Tomlinson and Owen won 1 race apiece, the results shook out and proved inconclusive. The feature race grid would be exactly the same as the sprint race. So whilst the grid for the sprint race was a random draw, this grid is one decided by 2 rigorous shootout races, so Tomlinson is looking for a sweep of both the sprint and feature races, and after his form in the sprint, the likes of Ryan Stewart and co had better be packing their A-game for the 350-lap feature. Owen looked much better in the shootout races, so his tilt of back-to-back feature race victories is still alive, whereas for Bob Harley, his main mission for the feature race is staying on all 4 wheels and on the track, and not in the camera equipment. Wareing and ALFORD enjoyed solid runs in the shootout races, with Wareing's rebuilt and reshelled car looking great and running much smoother. Can he come from the back and make a tilt at the Team Bombersports 350? Well, it's time to find out. The cars are lined up, rolling and ready to go. The excitement is palpable. This is full-scale excitement, intense-scale shells, Game 7 moments in cars 10 times smaller. They're ready. Are you? Let's cut them loose and drop the green flag in the Team Bombersports 350. Green flag. The feature race was action-packed, continuing in exactly the same vein as the sprint race. It was a rough and tumble affair which saw Joseph ALFORD retire after just 77 laps with steering damage. As the cross flags came out at lap 175, the pit window opened and Harley's number 77 car was the first one in. Ryan Stewart in car number 79 tried emulating Darren Gibbings' audacious strategy from the last event, staying out deep into the pit window and nailing a super fast pit stop. Would his strategy pay off? Nearly, until he had to pit a second time for a loose wheel. Dale Earnhardt Jr. feels your pain, dude. It was another rough race for Harley, who had to pit many times in the final 100 laps to fix minor issues on the car. And once again he wound up in the fencing, this time on the pit wall. It just really wasn't his day, was it? This set up another late sprint to the finish, just like in the Good Sign 300, but after 354 and furious laps of RASCAR racing, it was the impervious David Tomlinson who clinched a satisfying victory.
So I'm joined by David Tomlinson, winner of the Team Bombersports 350 here at Nailsea today. David, how did your first experience of RASCAR go?
I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant.
First time I've ever done it. Absolutely fantastic. Enjoyed the racing. Not as clean as I thought it might be, but finished in the end.
Lovely. Definitely a few incidents out there today, as the viewers would have seen. You thought the racing was absolutely, top notch. You enjoyed the pit stops. Yeah.
Pit stops worked well. No problems at all. Tyres lasted. Had a little bit of steering issues, about 100 laps to go, but after that it was fine.
You found your sails as well. They lasted. Did they start going off towards the middle of the race, or you found you were going quite well?
No, sails were fine.
Brilliant.
Could have gone longer, but obviously they've got this built in now where you've got to swap the sails. So
yeah, I think everybody will notice, that we had a rather empty track for part of the middle part of the race. Everybody sort of made the same decision. Was that in your mind, before the race, or did you just take it as the race went on, just see how everybody else reacted to the pit window opening?
No, I decided as soon as I heard that the pit window was open, I was going to come straight in and change sails. Hopefully, the others, I was hoping that the others were going to stop out, so when I went out, I'd have a nice clean track and pick up some laps.
Definitely an incident-packed race. David Tomlinson, winner of the Team Bombersports 350 here at Nailsea in the 34 car. Thank you very much for joining us, David.
No problem, thank you.
So Tomlinson can add a race victory in RASCAR to his already bulging list of achievements in RC racing, as the reigning F2 stock car champion took an impressive victory. Lee Owen was much improved, and despite coming up just short on a second straight victory, he can still be pleased with a second place and a better performance in the feature. Ryan Stewart had to settle for third. What might have been had his pit strategy paid off? Who knows? Chris Wareing's recovery ended with a fourth place finish, and considering that car was in bits between the sprint and shootout races, that is an impressive turnaround for the Good Sign number 5 Chevy. Bob Harley's number 77 car came home fifth after a pretty chaotic day overall, all told, and Joseph ALFORD's 01 car was our only casualty in the feature race. Well, a fantastic weekend's racing, and we're ready to go again from RASCAR Race 3 straight away. The NASCAR Fans UK 300 at the Birchfield Community Centre, Yeovil, is this Sunday, the 25th of October. Huge thank you to our sponsors Good Sign, Camtech and RC Racer Magazine. I've been Adam Johnson. This has been the RASCAR Team Bombersports 350. We'll see you next time, Bombers.